Are you good?
I call it peak. Rhymes with Grog. Somebody please kill me. I call this one rhymes with Grog. Rhymes with Grog. I call it style. Rhymes with Grog. My bones. I call it. Rhymes with Grog. I call this pixie stick. Rhymes with Grog.
Yeah.
And I call this one crude stew. Does that rhyme with Grog? I call this Battlefront 3. I want it. Now. And I call this Thug. Rhymes with Grog. Okay. I call this one Crippling Depression. I call this Part 49 League. Rhymes with Grog. And I call this one. Oh, seriously, I beg of you. Please put an end to this nightmare. I call it Xbox. I call this hospital visit. Stay away from me. We're going on an adventure. I call it a pug. Rhymes with Grog. I call it a Switch 2. Rhymes with Grog. For priced games. And I call this one Rhymes with Grog 2. Rhymes with Grog. 2. The endless cycle continues. I call these young